Hello, time for a Man in Great book review. Today's book is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, written by Judy Barrett and illustrated by Ron Barrett. This book was originally published in 1978 by Entheum Books. It's reprinted in 2021 by Simon & Schuster, and it's 34 pages long. This is a classic children's picture book, and its story starts out with breakfast. One day, grandfather is flipping pancakes for his grandson and granddaughter, but then the dog and cat come bolting into the room, and as a result, grandfather flips a pancake onto his grandson's head by mistake. Now, this gives the grandfather an idea for a tall tale, which he tells at bedtime. It's a bedtime story later that day. It's a story about a town called Chew and Swallow, where instead of raining rain and snow and hail, it rains food 3 times a day: hamburgers, hot dogs, pancakes, and various things. And this allows the illustrator Ron Barrett to come up with some elaborate um, illustrations. Here we've got a restaurant where there's no roof, and you just sit at a table and wait for the food to fall through the roof, and you put it on your plate and eat it. And then there's little jokes, illustrations like this newspaper spaghetti ties up town, but the spaghetti falls and clogs up everything. And everything is great until, in kind of a prediction perhaps of climate change. This book came out in 78, but what happens is the food suddenly becomes gigantic, and instead of raining small bits of things, there's gigantic donuts and huge meatballs, which start smashing up the roofs of houses and everything. And so eventually people have to flee, and so they realize they can't stay there anymore, so they take giant toast and build boats based on this giant toast. They sail to another city, a city where it doesn't rain food. As you can tell, it's a wonderfully fun book to read. The book came out almost 50 years ago, and as the little sticker says on the cover, it sold over 3 million copies, which is an extraordinary thing for a children's picture book. And a lot of it is because it's an incredibly fun story, and it has a timelessness to it. You know, over the decades, it has remained relevant. And interestingly enough, the couple that created this book, Jody Barrett, the author, and Ron Barrett, the illustrator, had been married, but when they wrote this book in 78, they had already divorced, but they continued to work together. So even though their marriage wasn't successful, they were very successful as a creative team. They went on to write 2 sequels to this book, one called Pickles to Pittsburgh, another one called Planet of the Pies, in which pies fall out of the sky. And the book also inspired a popular animated movie a few years ago. Although, as usual, when Hollywood adapts a children's book, the movie doesn't have much at all to do with the actual book. So if you haven't read this book to your children, or if you have small children, they haven't read Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, you really owe it to give them a copy of this book or check out the library, because they'll really enjoy it. As I said before, it has kind of a timelessness to it. It's been around for almost 5 decades and still delighting children. And the illustrations are a perfect match to the text. The book is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. The author is Judy Barrett. This has been another Man in Gray book review. Thanks for watching.